Hi there, what's up? My name is Jill Nabina. Thank you for joining my channel where I like to show everyone free and amazing tech tools. So hit like and subscribe. Today's video is for my math teachers who are looking for amazing pre-made lessons and videos that are relevant to the real world, specifically in AP Statistics, Algebra 1 and Algebra 2. We are talking about Skew the Script. Let's get started. So the first thing you're going to do is go to skewthescript.org, log in or sign up, continue with Google because Google is the GOAT. Once you are all the way logged in and you've answered all their questions, this is what it's going to look like. This is the most amazing thing. They have helpful guides on traditional, flipped, or online classrooms, which you can find here. They have teacher Facebook groups that help teachers across the country. I think this is especially helpful for all of those AP stats teachers out there because it's such a unique niche. And then of course we have unlimited access to the lesson materials. Today we're going to highlight in Algebra 1 and Algebra 2 and kind of see what it looks like. We can have the daily format or the classic format. The classic ones are longer and they are primarily used as a supplement of a unit instruction. So starting with the daily format is what I recommend. The daily lessons have relevant context and cover full units of Algebra 1 and Algebra 2, and they're all completely free. This is incredible. Let's go ahead and click on Algebra 2 and look through their content. As you can see, they're relating everything to something in the real world. What I really enjoyed was that their lessons are linked to Desmos collections, which is incredible. Now, as you can tell, this is still a website in progress. They're adding things all the time. You're not going to use this as your primary source of curriculum, but if you know you're teaching, say, rational functions, which in my opinion for Algebra 2 is such a tedious thing to teach and the kids really struggle with it, this Skew the Script on rational functions is so helpful. They have it broken down by day, and each day, as you click through it, has a key question. Why can't some people afford their medication? It's directly related to real life. There's always a hook video. They have student items. I prefer the Desmos links, which check out my video on Desmos. I'm completely and utterly obsessed with Desmos. I think it is the best online math platform available. And then they have teacher items. So we have keys for all of this. Here's a handout of what you would see for rational functions. So you could use this as guided notes. You can use this to copy and paste into a slide deck to have more of a conversational based. And you can see it's all related to that hook video as well as rational expressions, as well as rational functions. In that same lesson, you can also, if you would rather, or if you work on an online school or you have access to a Canvas page, or you are like me and you just prefer Desmos, what I love about their Desmos is they link their hook video. It's the first thing. It talks about the conversation around it. And then it also has teacher guides down here at the bottom, like all Desmos do. So full lesson materials, video editors, voiceovers. That's obviously not that necessary. Here we have before, make sure you give the lesson handout, find the unit review. I usually just post the lesson handout as a supplemental material or something to reference back to and primarily use the Desmos as my guide. But you can see they have sample student responses. So they tell you where the conversation should be headed. Band-aids are cheap because they're easy to make from simple materials. Since people make them on their own or skip them altogether, the demand for them is low. Then we're just like talking about real world things. Many Americans don't have insurance. Today's key question, let's take it all back. Now we're getting into the meat and potatoes. So here Desmos is very interactive, gives you a sample student response, which in this instance is the correct response. Then as we come back, so that kind of gives you an idea of what that looks like. Lesson feedback link. So they're really good about wanting to grow. You can give them a lesson feedback and tell them what you loved, what you didn't love. Their slide decks are also here if you prefer. Here's an example of their slide deck. If you prefer a little bit more of a traditional setup where you're sharing a slide deck and then having the conversation as they fill in either their Desmos or they fill in their handout. You'll see in here they have their facts linked. So they're not just saying random things. They're showing that where this research is coming from and the value behind it. And it all comes back to the original question of the lesson. Okay, now let's look through the classic format. Here's a collection of relevant lessons to supplement your unit. So oftentimes, as for instruction in math, I will get teachers reaching out for ways to supplement or provide enrichment for students in math specifically, and this is a great place to come. They link so many other great sites, so they're good at utilizing their resources. If we're analyzing functions, look at how relevant this stuff is. Our taxes fair, economics, smoking. It really dives deep into some really critical thinking type of questions, some really deep questions. Electoral college, voting power, basketball, a little bit more lighthearted, functions versus not functions, and different things like that. There's always a hook video, there's always student items, and there's always teacher items. I do recommend digging into both sides of their lessons, both the classic format for enrichment. Once again, that's enrichment, supplemental type of content, whereas the daily format would be like what you would use for your whole class and guidance. Now, I will say, Skew the Script doesn't have a lesson for every single thing. There is unfortunately nothing for geometry yet. I'm sure they have stuff in the works, but what they are coming up with is revolutionary. It truly is remarkable. It answers that age-old tired question that math teachers are often facing from students. When am I going to use this in real life? Okay, Skew the Script is still a growing platform, but their lessons for math are completely relevant. They have student boot camps, teacher boot camps, and teacher workshops about making math relevant. They have the different stats of how they're going. You can watch previous workshops that they had. Please check it out. Please write them reviews. Please subscribe to my channel, just throw that in there, and use Skew the Script's amazing pre-made lessons and let me know what you think. Ta-ta.